are so many things inside of our business that we truly have no control over. And I'm going to break these down for you, but I'm also going to tell you what you do have control over so that you can keep moving forward and keep the momentum going in your business. Number one, you cannot control when people are going to buy or how people are going to buy. That is out of our control. Now, what I'm going to tell you in a minute means that we can increase the likelihood that they will buy, but we can't really control anybody, right? The second thing you can't control is when someone is going to default or quit paying you. We can't control that. We can have all the contracts, we can have all the late fees, whatever we want. We can have whatever we want, but we still can't technically really control that, right? However, here are some things that we can control. Number one, you can control how often you are nurturing your audience. That is completely in your control. Number two, you can control how much you show up so that you are always attracting additional, like a cold audience, warming up the warm audience that you have, and then the warm audience you're turning into raving fans or a hot audience, right? So you always have control over that, over how much you are showing up. You have control over how visible you are. That is completely in your control. No one can take that away from you. You can control how many times you talk about your offer. You can control how many times you launch. You can control the type of content that you put out into the world. You can control your customer experience, right? Like how they find out about like how to log into the programs, how to get access, all this stuff. You can control all of that, right? So a lot of times there are things as a business owner we cannot control. But if we are consistently creating momentum in these other things, right, that we can control, we're going to create momentum by default in the sales. And when we have sales happening, we still can't control defaults, right? Obviously. But if we have more sales coming in, that's not as big of a deal, right? If we're doing the things day in, day out, to nurture, to show up, to be visible, to put out the right messaging to our audience, to launch, to sell, to talk about our offers, right? All of those things, when we are in control of that, it makes everything else seem easier. It makes everything else create this momentum results, right? So when we start first and we have and create momentum in the things that we have control over, we're going to get the results from that. And here's the thing. When it comes, just like working out, right? When it comes to creating momentum, it literally starts with saying you're going to do something, being your word to yourself, and showing up repeatedly. And it's so simple. It's so simple, right? But it's also so hard at the same time because we show up and I do the things you tell me, Christy, but I'm not getting the results that I want. And as a society, we love having instant gratification. We love knowing that what we're doing is working. And sometimes that takes 3 months. And sometimes that takes 6 months. And sometimes that takes a year. And most of us give up before we get to see the fruits of our labor. I have dips and lulls in my business where I'm not as visible as I would like to be. And when I have those lulls and those dips, it's harder to get back into being consistent. The more consistent I am, the more visible I am, the easier it is, right? And when that is created and I'm on this roll for 6, 8, 9 months, I start seeing the results like I haven't seen before, right? Take the things that you have control over and move with those. Now, if you're like, I need to work on all those, don't try to do all of them at one time. Take one and move with that. Get consistent. Then take another and be consistent with that. And keep adding on. It's not like, oh, I have this whole big list of things to do. And then you feel like you're failing before you even start and you're overwhelmed and you get all these feels, and I don't want you to feel that. So take the one thing that you feel like would be the biggest needle mover for your business right now and start taking control over it and start moving. You've got this, my friend. I cannot wait to see what you create. And if you're struggling with momentum and creating it for your business, make sure you DM me because we have an 8-week program coming out called Momentum where we're going to work on sales, raving fans, content, and find the things that you need to create momentum in that is going to get you the most results the fastest. So DM me for those deets. It is a mastermind experience, and including the inner circle members I have now, I am maxing it out at 20. I want it to be a small, intimate group where I can serve and support you, create strategy, and create a roadmap for what you need to do to create this momentum in your business.